live. This is the best part, and I never edit this stuff out. This is like,
Well, if you're live, you can't.
I know.
I mean, I guess you can. Just because something's filmed before a live studio audience doesn't mean you get the original take.
Right?
That's right.
It's like, that's it. Because you know what? We're live. And so just like AI, instead of adding arms, we lost an arm on Dave. Where's your arm, Dave? Sew it back
There it is.
on. You're making the children uncomfortable.
Well, 6 fingers.
So, well, here we are, Photo Booth Magazine. It's like a week and a half until Photo Booth Expo. We got Jason Whaley, we got Lap Lay on here, the pros from Pro Booth Talk. You guys are awesome, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Art.
Yeah, and you know, Lap is weathering this cold temperature she's got in LA area.
What is it, like 72?
Probably like 65. It's cold here. It's cold.
Oh
I'm
my
outside, you
gosh.
guys.
Dude,
I
just
feel like
like,
I feel like I'm doing the weather right now.
you know, 65 is the temperature we keep in our house.
And we're going to go to Lap with the weather from California. Lap, how's the weather out there?
It's cold.
We should have just sent you.
Even the palm trees are going, it's cold.
You need a Pro Booth Talk like newscaster like microphone with the square thing around it that says Pro Booth Talk, and just
Jason,
hold
I feel like Jason had.
Yeah,
no, you don't have that, Jason?
I do have one.
Yeah.
We use it when we every now and again when we do like testimonial booths. If companies want to have the branded thing, we'll put a wrap around that little bit. So
yeah,
I could add one.
I have one too, but it's a Mr. Microphone. It goes through the radio.
I got 2 of those still in the packaging. I have 2 Mr. Microphones still in the packaging. I have them. They're mine. But yeah, you guys are just like tearing the storm up here with the podcast. I listened to your podcast. I listened to I started off on Podbean, right? Because that's like the one link you guys sent out. And then I realized, man, they're on Spotify, even better. So
yeah, and
we're everywhere.
Yep.
iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you podcast.
It's perfect. It's great. And you know, Lap and I were talking about like walking, right? And how we've been on this regimen of walking to lose weight, which you've lost a ton. I've lost a ton. And that's
from our last recording we were talking about.
Don't worry about losing it. I found it for you guys.
All that weight
storing is for all of you, just so you know.
How much have you lost, Art? How much have you lost? You look different since our last recording a few months back.
I lost 40. I lost 40 and I gained 4 back.
High five.
There it is. So I'm trying to see if I can lose that 4 by the time PBX comes around. But yeah, but your podcast is what I listen to on my walks. Like that, there's a couple other ones, but when there's a new one from you guys, I love it when it's a long one because that it like makes me want to walk more, right? Because I don't want to.
Not because of the topic.
Yeah. No.
I always wonder about that. Like, should we try to like pull it back into like 30 minutes? Are we losing listeners? I never know. I'm sure there's some stats somewhere that I just haven't taken the time to learn how to read, but. I mean, if we're having a good conversation, I just don't want to cut it short.
It just goes when you have that natural conversation with somebody, and it just flows. Before you know it, you're like an hour and a half in, and you're like, "What happened? What happened?"
Yeah, and we go off into tangents, me and Jason too. Like sometimes we go off topic too, and we're just like, "Oh well, let's put it in there."
Yeah.
We do that. That's our weekly. That's our weekly theme. Is
Yeah, there's been a couple podcasts recently.
Like let's change the title of this podcast.
I can't tell you how many times we're like, well, let's like burn through this one really quick. It's gonna be like 15 or 20 minutes, and then like an hour and a half.
45 minutes.
Holy shit, we need to stop this podcast.
Yeah.
Who have you had who have you had on the show that's been just the one that just like that was the longest episode ever, and partially because it's the guests that you had on.
I mean, I feel like a lot of our episodes are pretty long, Jason, right? Like we get pretty deep into it. I don't know who would be the longest.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
The SEO one, because how long was the recent SEO one? Because that was very
the
technical.
SEO one actually just came out today. So if you haven't checked that out yet, it was really,
Check it
really
out.
good.
And everything went right over my head, you guys. Everything went. I just sat there like, let's put it where I can understand what you all talking about, because it's so complex. SEO is so complex to me.
But
Jason
I don't think
a
that one
background in
ran
it.
too long. I think it was about an hour. I don't know. I could while we're chatting here, I could pull
Maybe
it up
it felt long because
and
I
look.
didn't know what like I felt like I was in like SEO 101 learning just like basic vocabulary, because it's a whole different language. That's probably why it felt long to me.
That could be the thing, because it is. There's a lot that goes into SEO, so I could see how that could be one of the longest episodes. Dave, what do you think? What's our longest one?
I think an hour and a half. I think an hour and a half was our longest.
That's pretty long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm cheating. I am looking.
And
who was it with? Do you remember?
Actually, it might have been close to 2 hours. I think was
with who?
Was it Rob Savickas?
I think it was Rob.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I think our longest one was our very first one.
Well, he was the first one.
Yeah.
Wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was the first guest.
Yeah.
But he could just tell story after story. He's got so much road stories that it's great.
I mean, so I'm going to scroll through real quick a couple episodes. So with Phoenicia today, the SEO is just barely an hour.
Okay.
Then we just spoke with Rex, and he was an hour 23. So that was pretty long.
Wow. Rex had a lot to talk about, though.
Rex, and then Catalina also. Awesome. Catalina was an hour 22.
Catalina, I could see she has a lot of knowledge to share. Yeah, Catalina. Thank you for being on our podcast. It was such an honor to have. I mean, everybody, but Catalina, like
an hour of 20 minutes of.
Come on, I mean, I've known you for years.
It's huge in my career.
Mm-hmm.
She's huge in a lot of people's career.
Alan Berg was an hour and 22 minutes.
That's true. That's true, Dave.
Yeah, we've had Alan Berg on. He's awesome. I could just sit and listen to him forever. Matter of fact, I'm gonna I'm gonna tell Alexa to talk to
him
me Alan
after
Berg.
this.
No, to help me go to sleep.
Speaking his voice.
Yeah.
Yes, he has a calming voice.
Yeah, let's see here. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna take a look here. We've got hour and 7.
And I've got a winner.
Uh-oh.
So an hour and 32 minutes.
Wow. Who was that?
That was Monica Gunderlock.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah. Monica.
I guess
we keep a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the cruise and stuff like that. Which, I mean, it's no PPAI. Is that what it's called?
PVPI.
You guys, PPPI.
PVPI.
Yes. So we. Before going live here with Photo Booth Magazine, we recorded an episode with them for Pro Booth Talk that won't come out for a couple months. But in that conversation, Lap and Dave did some reminiscing over that educational conference that doesn't exist anymore. And I think there's a couple things that I think were really amazing about that. One was, you're right, it had some really, really, really good content. But I think Lap also hit on another big point they limited the number of tickets they sold, so it was very small size. And I think that's something that without the education that Boothcation and what Monica's doing kind of captures as well, because it's such a small group of people that go and do these vacations and stuff that at the end of the week you really don't want it to end, because you've spent, like, Photo Booth Expo obviously we love, but it is very overwhelming, like jumping from crowd to crowd and whatnot. But if you get these great groups of people together and do something with them, and Monica just announced like her photo booth cruise or whatever it's I'm not sure what it's called, but
this will be the second one.
This is the third one.
This will be the first one that's open to everybody.
The second cruise.
Yeah, second.
This is, but it's technically the first. So the first, sorry, because the actual first one was invite only, because she was just trying it out and doing some troubleshooting and making sure it works. So this is the first one that's open to everybody.
I had a big event. I wanted to go on the original one, and
it was amazing.
And I wasn't able to go, and I saw the pictures from everybody, and I was like, oh,
it's incredible. So I encourage everyone to sign up for that.
I was there.
Well, how was it?
I was there.
It was
amazing.
incredible. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was. And
Yeah.
I feel like, so like my reservation about it when they first brought it up, I was just thinking like, why do I want to go on vacation with like a bunch of boothers, right? And you don't realize that the people that are investing into this trip, I mean, yeah, you are going on a vacation, but the people that are investing into their business for networking, I mean, they are very serious about their business. So when you show up, the people that are in attendance, they're not there. They're not the type of boothers that are just kind of like, you know, just making do with the business. Like the ones that are in attendance are really like hustling and, really trying to get their business out there. And they're really invested in the business. So the networking value of these events, the cruise was amazing. I was there for like 2 of the activities, but still it was really valuable to me. Just, you know, anything
Yeah.
outside of PBX is so different.
Right.
And I keep mentioning Monica because that's who I talk to more actively than the other ones, but I don't want to discount the other people that are included, which is George, Belinda, and I think Rudy. The 4 of them put this cruise together.
Right.
So, and they're going to be pushing it really hard at PBX. They're going to have some QR codes and stuff for people to sign up, and they're doing some promotions for people that sign up early, the early adopters. So definitely take advantage. It's going to be.
And I was not one that was eager to go because they had to hit me up a few times. I was just like, I think I made the decision super last minute, but they're really good about like, just approaching me about it, but not in like a, not like an annoying way. And I'm glad I went. Next time though, I'm definitely not bringing my kids. that was the reason why I was so MIA at a lot of the events, because I feel like it is a vacation, but the networking that you have it's next level, right, Jason? Like, got to meet people. Like I got to meet people that I only have seen online that I've never met in person. And you have so many moments for that. What was it? A 5-day cruise? A 4-day cruise? I'm trying to even remember.
I think it was 4 days, but that was where Pro Booth Talk was actually reborn. So those of you that aren't familiar with the history, real brief telling, I started Pro Booth Talk, I don't know, 2015, 2016, and it was kind of originally marketed as I'm photo boothing and I'm going to bring on this guy, a buddy of mine that's not in the industry at all, that can ask questions as I talk, aimed at like new boothers. And we only did, I don't know, a handful of episodes in that model. And then he moved because we actually recorded in the same room. And then Clay reached out and said he wanted to take over his spot. So we worked that out and we did a bunch.
That's when I met you guys.
Yes. And we met Lap. And then Clay had some family things going on and he wasn't able to participate anymore. So I was deciding how I was going to move forward. And then a lot of things happened in my life. I started going back to school and there's just a lot of things that consume my time. So I put it on hold. And during this cruise, I had mentioned to Lap, like, I think that I'm going to bring this back, but I think I'm going to do it like on TikTok or something, some format that, because I don't know who's listening to podcasts anymore. And like that conversation just got later into the night and ultimately by the morning,
the pizza shop shut down.
The bar shut down. We shut the bar down.
Yeah.
The Pizza Hut, then we went to the bar and then they were like, you guys gotta go somewhere else.
And we migrated. It's so crazy how like different paths take you different, it just changes like the direction that you go with everything. And it's been amazing. This, like I have a fear of public speaking. And when we first started the podcast, Jason was like, are you sure you really want to do this? And I was like, oh man, I already committed. Like I can't not do it. And the first few episodes were me I was stumbling over, and I feel like now.
She was great.
I noticed a difference.
Yeah, like I
noticed
don't
a huge
have.
Difference.
Yeah, because before when the red light would start, it's just when the red light would start blinking, I would just blank out. And now anybody who was listening in the early episodes, thank you for following. I feel like I sounded like I didn't know what I was doing because I was stumbling over words, but now I feel a lot more comfortable. But it's been, I love hearing from like some of our listeners when they implement the things that we've talked about. It's so rewarding to hear that people actually are like taking the advice that they're hearing from us and like running with it, and it's like changing their business. Like that's so rewarding, like to be able to help somebody like other people have helped me through
Mhm.
my journey and Jason's journey.
You're helping me, like just
Yeah.
this like past couple weeks, right? So I went back to the episode that you guys have about, employee hiring, and I'm at the point where it's like I can only do so much by myself, and I've got a couple other people, but it's not as formal, right, as it should be. And so I referred back to your episode, where you talked about hiring employees and lab. I'm just, you kind of inspired me to kind of just rip that band-aid off. So last week I went out and put some posts up, and I've got my first like official like group employee training coming up this Sunday. We're gonna go.
Yay!
Oh,
It's not
great.
just come out to an event and learn on the job. It's we're going dedicated. I'm bringing like free booths. We're going through all of it.
Yay!
Yeah. So thank you.
Yay!
That little
That's see
push.
that I love that because sometimes I feel like we as owners we have so many hats that we're wearing, so many things
Mhm.
that we have to tackle on our to-do list. And you have to get this stuff done, but sometimes when you hear someone talking about it, it just puts you in motion. We're talking about like the losing weight thing, right? Like
Yeah.
when we talked about that a few months back, and then you and me both, Art and me both like ran with it, and have just having the conversation. It's not that we didn't know we had to get
Mhm.
fit. Yeah. And that goes
It's
with Boost too.
yeah. Booths, fitness, anything in your life. You just like I think what it comes down to is just like you just make this list of things you got to accomplish, and it's overwhelming at first, right? Like,
And it
man, I got to
keeps
do so many
growing.
things. Yeah, but you just got to just start knocking one off at a time. Concentrate on the one most important one, and just keep whittling down that
Yeah.
list. And of course, stuff comes up under it, right? It's just going to keep compiling. But at least you're in motion, daily improving yourself in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try something new every week. Even if
Mhm.
it's something that can take you out of your comfort zone, or something you've been wanting to try, or
Even if it
you
sounds daunting. Even if
exactly
it sounds daunting, it's just
take
baby
it in
steps.
baby steps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So, and normally we don't run these shows with like a heavy agenda, and we're not doing that tonight either. I mean, like in the very beginning, just kind of like you, Lab, we were kind of just figuring things out and getting comfortable with it. And I used to have like this big long list of things I've got to ask the guest, and it's like it just seemed for me personally, and Dave, I think you too, right? Like it's just seemed too formal and too dry. So we
well,
just decided,
it seems scripted, and it's not.
yeah,
It doesn't seem as genuine as just having a conversation with friends across the industry.
right,
And that's, or really learning, asking people. You can write down, and you guys have it too, where people submit questions and things like that, and you pick what you think might work for a guest, but a lot of times it's just having that conversation, that you're in a calm situation, just sitting back, relaxing. When we had Alan on, I mean,
yeah,
he had a glass of bourbon. He's just kick back and
his
and,
favorite.
and
Jason's
and-
got
The bourbon that
show it,
he
Jason.
made. The
There
bourbon
it
that he
is.
made.
He's got
Yeah, I'll
blend. That's
go ahead and
Ellenberg's blend
I'll go
right
ahead and
there.
get a bottle.
Well,
I have to hit him up to send me a bottle now.
but I mean it's those things where when you create that mood with your guests, that it's more like you're sitting in a living room just chatting, or you're at a dinner table just chatting about life in general.
yeah.
And those are some of the most sincere, and I think you guys convey that a lot of times with your guests. From a lot of the episodes, I try and listen to every single one. As soon as you guys put them out, it's on my list,
Thank you.
and
Yeah.
I'm listening to it on my commutes, and believe it or not, I actually walk too, but I wasn't saying anything. I have a treadmill.
Yay! Good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, Dave.
I've been, my wife's been on me for that
Making
too.
those life changes.
Exactly. Well, listen, we're not getting any younger.
No.
Some of us get better looking as they get older, but we're not getting any younger, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
But you know what I really love about doing these podcasts is I feel we're really lucky that we entered this industry really early on. A lot of us did. So we have like these type of conversations within, like the people that we have met through the years, like people who have become like really great friends to us. And I feel like for some of the newbies, they don't have that. I'm sorry, I don't want to offend anybody saying newbies, but like
Yeah.
folks that are like new to the industry who like, they don't realize that PBX is a whole, I feel like it's like band camp where like a lot of us come and we get to see like all our old friends again. And, you don't really know the conversations that's happening behind what you see on like the networks or what you see at like the expo, because these are conversations that we have with each other, with our friends, like what we're doing right here right now live with everybody. These, when we're talking about like the industry, like what's trending, what's going to be, what we foresee for the future, this is conversations we have with people that we've become friends with through the years, attending PBX. And I love that people kind of get to see the insight, so they're, they can see like you can have more conversation than what you're seeing on the networks. The networks is a great way to meet people, but build on those relationships with these people that you see online, so that they're not just like a avatar, with a name.
I tell people all the time, when you go to these expos, find a new person, introduce yourself.
Yeah.
It goes back to that stepping out of your comfort zone. Do something different, make a connection. I mean, I've made so many friends from people who are like, "Oh, hey, Dave, I see you on Facebook in chatting in all the groups and posting stuff all the time, and it's finally nice to meet you in person." And I'll spend as much time as they want, answering questions or just chatting, but getting to know them. I mean, that's how I've met so many people in the industry. It's just they say hi to you and strike up a conversation. Ask a person about their business. Find out a little bit more, and you're going to make connections. And that's how a lot of these extracurricular groups and things like that get started, because somebody saw somebody at one of the expos or online and ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions of people.
Yeah.
If they don't want to tell you, they're going to not tell you. But most of the time, people will answer questions for you.
Yeah, especially if you're buying them a drink or sharing a drink with them.
Exactly.
But when we just
except the camera settings, I'm sending you to YouTube if you're asking about camera settings.
Please. But when we were just recording with you two, you introduced that you guys kind of put this together at a trade show as well, or a conference in Lapidai on the boothcation. So you're right, like these networking events do spawn like most of the things that are happening in our industry. People getting together and just talking shop, and the things that come out of it are for yourself, for your business, for the industry.
Yeah, Rob Savickas has mentioned that on your show, right? And then I heard him echo it again on our show, that it's like this like incubator for like the growth in the industry, whether it be like these little groups like what we're doing, or whether there's partnerships and new businesses starting, right? He's seen it over the years, and it's just these shows, and the big one is like the incubator for all the small little ones. And you guys talked about the cruise. It's like those little special things are when you get to get good quality time with other like-minded. Like you go to the expo and there's just so many people, right?
Yeah,
and
can
it's
be
hard to
overwhelming.
spend. Yeah, and hard to spend like dedicated time and have a good quality conversation sometimes, because there's so much going on. And when you break out into these small groups, you get that quality time. And that's when like things are born, or you're learning something. Like, I'm learning something every day. And like you guys have been in the industry, a long time. And I'm sure you guys are learning something even from a newbie or a, new person in the industry.
Yeah. And everybody has something, doesn't even have to necessarily be related to booze. Like someone is really great with like, I don't know, sales. Someone's really great with like marketing. So everybody
or
that
Google
you
AdWords.
or Google AdWords. So everybody you meet brings value. So it's really important that you're not just getting to know people. I know like in the last few years, like white labeling has grown in demand
Mhm.
and like it's been on people's radar. And I feel like a lot of people are just trying to like make connections and meeting people just to win like a contract. And you have to kind of, I feel like I can't stress it enough. Like it has to be more than you just like meeting. You're not going to win a contract because you go and you introduce yourself to someone
Mhm.
while you meet them at PBX. Like a lot of these businesses, a lot of these like relationships, they're built on trust. They're built on like years and years of knowing each other, you know? So try to like genuinely meet people, connect with people. Don't do it
Mhm.
with just the intent of business. Like if your goal is just to grow your business, I mean, it's going to be harder for you. You know what I mean? I don't know how to, I don't know how to like communicate that where like if, because I know there's companies that, you know, are like, okay, I'm gonna meet people that way I can win some white label contracts. Like that's the goal for PBX. You know, I'm hearing from some people. I don't think that's a good way to approach things.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
Well,
has
you
to
brought
be
up.
very genuine. It has to be very like it's time invested. I mean, you know, some people I've been talking to, I've been friends with, and I connect with like every single, like some people I talk to more than I talk to my family, you know, because we talk about
Yeah,
shop that much. Like our industry is just growing so much that every day there's something to talk about.
Yeah, with
I'm
the
out of things to
exception of
talk
my
about.
wife and one of my kids, I definitely talk to Lap more than most of my family.
That's funny.
we, and we all have. I mean, Art and I talk. You know, even when we're not on. You know,
Mhm.
we'll still. He'll call me. I'll call him. You know, we start a conversation.
New
I
Year's
have
Day or
I
New
have
Year's Eve, he
friends.
called me.
Yeah, yeah. I have friends. You know, that are in the industry that are local around here. That we just call and say, hey, what's up? You know,
Yeah.
and it's those relationships that you build with people. And, with the internet, now we all have friends all over the world. I
Yeah.
mean,
It's
It's
great.
crazy. It's
it
It's
is.
crazy,
It
great.
right?
is.
Yeah, when I went to London and I knew people while I was in London, I was like, wow, this is this is so wild how connected our industry is. For me to like travel across the world and still, you know, like have people there that I knew and, you know, wasn't even traveling alone. That was really awesome. You don't realize how widespread our industry is until moments like that, you know?
Mhm.
Right.
I can
Exactly.
imagine. Yeah.
And that's one of the things that is so amazing. With the different groups and the different trainings that are out there. Sharon does the chit chat.
Mhm.
She does.
On the East Coast. She does that on the
Right.
East Coast, right?
Yeah, she's been in Texas a couple times and in Florida but it's people that are putting these together and taking that knowledge that they have and bringing into people in smaller settings in different
Yeah.
parts of the country that are kind of helping those people that might be scared to um
Mhm.
to talk to lots of people, but they make small connections here or there, and then being brought in to like these trainings and things like that, or these groups, for a couple days of learning. I
Yeah.
mean, kind of
And
that's
they're
how
all different levels. They're all
you,
different levels too. You got like Ryan Salinas super boothers. That's like in-depth stuff about like snap pick and all that kind of stuff. It's great. And he's even got like YouTube videos where I was trying to figure out something on snap pick and boom, he had his video on YouTube. Um, it's photo booth marketing, right? Treasure trove of lots of stuff for all different levels, and it answers all those problems that we have, the deficiencies that we have in our business that we can learn from these separate micro groups. That is just so beneficial. And Laugh said earlier, it's like we didn't have this stuff when we were starting. Dave, you said we didn't have this stuff when you started out, and
no,
all the
Yeah.
newbies are so
there was,
lucky.
there was nothing
Now
that,
there's
when
so
I
much.
started.
There
There's
you mentioned photo booth marketing. I was going through there just the other day. So I was like, because I had lost my my office person that was part of her job was to watch and participate in all those. So it's like maybe I should cancel this until I get somebody new because I don't have time to participate in photo booth marketing. And I went to their website and just started like going through some of them, and it's like how can I cancel this? There's just so many like the depth is just incredible. There's essentially any topic that you can think of. Photo booth marketing is covered it.
And it's great for people who are starting out. Like, here's one of the biggest things for someone who's starting out who hasn't done any free events and they don't have any videos, any pictures, and they've got to build a website and build like some kind of marketing material. They've got a lot of stock photos and videos there that you can use, and even like pitch decks like that you can utilize for like the corporate stuff. It's great. So anybody who's watching this for the first time, I highly recommend it. I mean, I did not look at it for the longest time, probably until like a couple months ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's seasoned boothers that are part of their network as well. Just because I feel like they do coaching, they do pitches for the Christmas season, like creative concepts that, and they put everything together that way you can send it out. So I know a few seasoned ones that are in there that go out.
Oh yeah.
Listen, you can take the information and you just need to know what you can pluck out of it that fits your needs. I mean, I've been to trainings where I've heard the same thing 10 times over, and it might be something that's just slightly different that I didn't think of, or a different spin. It may be the same end result, but doing that one or two steps differently that may save you 30 minutes or may, get you in front of, 30 more people. I mean, that's what you have to look at.
Yeah, I feel that way with Alan Berg's speaking. Like, I've read a couple of his books, and I always try to participate whenever he's speaking. I make it a point to pop in because he's just such an accomplished speaker. He's really great. But every time I listen to him, there's always a lot of his speeches are the same presentations, but there's always something there that I get, and I'm like, did he just add that, or is that the first time I'm hearing it? So there's just so much value in going back and checking things out again.
Yeah.
Have you read any of Alan's books?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you've stored them.
Yeah.
I've only read. He's got a new one that just came out that I got to check out. So, but yeah, Treasures, and I encourage reading too. Like, there's something said to be just getting away from, a screen and watching YouTube videos. Just sit down with a book, give your eyes a break, and soak it in.
But read a manual. Read a manual, that helps too.
Oh yeah, the manual.
Read the manual to breathe. That helps too. That's how I learned that software.
And all their YouTube videos.
Yep.
They have a bunch of YouTube videos. Breathe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Did
look.
not know that. Well, when I learned Breeze, I don't think that they had
probably not
videos.
I think they stepped it up. They stepped it up in like the last year or so.
Yeah.
A lot more.
It really wasn't until Steve got involved.
Transitioned.
Yeah, definitely Steve. Like, Chris wasn't much of a YouTuber, I think.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw their Instagram last year, and I was like, "You guys need to get on this. What is on your Instagram with like 2 posts?" Now I got to go back and see if their Instagram has been updated since last year.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I just noticed that our screen here, I don't know if it looks the same for everybody, but it looks like a 4-up photo strip.
Yeah.
For you? For you?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that for me.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's different for all of us.
Now what does it look like? 4 up still?
Yeah, it's the same
for
me.
Yeah. I mean, I could change it. I could just go.
No, don't change it. It's
Like
fitting.
that. It's crazy. Fun with technology. I love it. All right, so let's talk about PBX. PBX is coming up, and again, I don't have a list. This is just my brain popping off here. You have buttons that you're giving away. The deadline is passed. They're really cool. There's for those
easy.
Yeah. And it's
I just don't want anybody missing out. That's all, because I would have the FOMO if I didn't submit my button. That's on my
and I feel like
profile.
there will be some people with FOMO that are there and wanting a button.
Visit my profile.
Yeah, I may have time for a few more if anyone is still trying.
Don't say it, Jason.
Oh,
You're gonna get.
But here's the thing: like,
I'm
I'm going to do them until I can't. Like, if you submit a form and you don't get a button, I'm sorry. There's no guarantee of a button. I'm gonna do as many as I can, but they do take time to set up and press and everything. So
Joe's gonna be.
So thank you for
like,
doing that.
Just over 150
I gotta make it over there in
right
15 minutes. Let me do these last 30 buttons.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. That's really cool. And
yeah, Jason came up with that idea because we were doing a podcast recording and we were talking about how at PBX you know a lot of people based on just their Facebook profile page. Their Facebook profile. But when you see them, which has happened to me a few times as well, like you see them in real life, you don't even realize that you already know them. You know, you could be sitting right next to the person that you've been chatting with for the last like 2 years and you don't even know them. So we're trying to like bridge that gap.
Well, some of us like have changed the way we look, and the Facebook profile stays the same all the time.
Yeah,
so it's like
often. We had that conversation with Jonathan. he's like, let me update my photo before you do the button. But like, this is the Facebook profile I've known for like 4 years.
I know some of you guys need to be changing out your photos, keep me updated, man. And then here I am changing mine every other day.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So you're giving them away, like people can collect them at Sunday night, and I think you said something about people picking them up maybe Monday too.
We're gonna do a meetup at the USBC bar or lounge at the South Point, which is the central bar over by the sports book. Sunday at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Lap and I will be there just hanging out. It'll be very informal meetup, and people can come by, order some drinks, and hang out, and we'll have
get Jason some drinks.
It's a beer for a button.
He's putting that's what he's
doing. A beer for a button.
Work, but yeah, y'all gotta be buying Jason a drink because he put it in that elbow work. Put these buttons out for everybody.
I think Lap has probably earned a few drinks over the past year of recording.
She gets a gallon.
Just for showing up.
So we're going to cut it off at 6 o'clock so we could go over to the Boothmaster Award show. I'll still have them with me there. So if you run into me there, I'll just be carrying them around. So if ever you see me on Sunday or Monday, just come and see me, and I will likely have them with me. But we don't know when we're going to have get together on Monday, because Monday's a pretty full day. But we're going to try and have something 30 minutes, 60 minutes where we can have a designated area where people could come and collect the buttons. And after that, after Monday, we're going to transfer custody over to Lap, and she will be on the showroom floor a lot of the time. And you can
I have an idea.
Her,
I have an idea.
What's your idea?
So I have a booth there.
Sheree does as well. So Sheree also offered. So we have a few options. I'm going to leave that up to Lap to decide.
You see me, just ask me, and I'll tell you where I stashed them.
Perfect.
Well, we need to start a scavenger hunt. You want your button? Here's your first hint.
Actually, I might. You know what? I might be hard to track on the sales floor, though, honestly, because I move around those first few days. Honestly, I'll be helping out at a couple booths.
Cool.
Yeah, but if she ends up leaving them at Sheree or Art's booth or something, she'll post to the group me chat where you can find them, and you can go over there and get your.
Or join our Facebook Pro Boot Talk Facebook page, guys. Join the group, and then
we'll post it there as well.
Too. Yeah, maybe we should only post it there, Jason.
Yeah. Well, the chat is ours also, so we also want people there.
And I will say your chat is very active even now, before the expo, because I see
that's good.
I see it pop up. I'm like on a call or something, and I see like the little notification on my phone pop up, and I'm like, I look down and I'm like, okay, so it's there's a whole new someone popping up saying, hey, hello everybody, hello, and
and I'm already in there like removing tons of spammers and stuff too. They are so quick.
Yeah, I saw that.
Giving away their kids' iPads, and
we trying our best, you guys. We can't. Yeah, we can't filter them until they post that. So
Yeah, the best thing to do is to like there's like a button that says like report this person. Don't just like tag us or say something. Like use the report button, because then it comes directly to us, and we just have to hit a button to remove the person and block their stuff. So
yeah,
that makes it a lot.
Don't give us a hard time about it, because we don't know they're gonna be spammers. Some of y'all messaging me like,
now you know what my life's been like for the past 10 plus.
Yeah, no kidding.
Trying our best, you guys.
So what?
But yeah, as PBX approaches, I mean, we're gonna be, there's gonna be more events. Everybody's still, I feel like there's still a lot of people planning events. So, make sure you check in on the app. There's Jason, I think there's like different subcategories, right? Where they can go in for like events. Like
so when you go in, there's 3 different chats. One is events. I think at one point people are just going to ignore that, and it's all going to be in the main chat. But in an effort to keep it organized, we've got like an event chat so people can go in there and plan meetups and things like that. Another one for sessions, so people could talk about what sessions they're going to, or what they picked up, or if they want to share notes or something like that. And the last one is for the showroom floor, so people could discuss that, and it won't like convolute the entire thread, so people could kind of more easily see what's going on. If you want to see the calendar, a lot of people are having a hard time finding the calendar. It's not very cohesive either. Across the top, there's the logo, and if you tap that, then you have a drop down, and the calendar is listed in there, and you can see all the events there. If you are hosting an event, you're welcome to just add it to the calendar. I just ask that you kind of use the same format of, who's invited, if there's an additional cost, that sort of thing, so that you don't have people show up and you're not, letting them in. So if it's like a private party for only your listeners or your subscribers or software payees or whatever it is, make sure you post that, and then everyone could go in there and say, hey, I buy a photo booth from that guy, I should be invited to that party, and then they could show up to that party.
That's a lot of stuff going on.
Speaking of awards, I know we talked about this a little earlier, but some inductees, I think, or a new inductee is being added.
It's funny watching you guys point, because
he's actually for me on the screen. So
congratulations.
No, pointing to your left lap. There you go. There I am.
It's weird.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Jason.
Well, welcome to the world of
Hall of Famers. Hey,
the Hall of Famers. Yes.
It's a very proud circle that I am honored to be part of.
Yeah, and
you
want some.
That's Monday at 3, I believe. If anyone
well
wants
earned.
to attend
Well earned.
Yes.
Oh, thanks.
And
you're gonna have your name on. You're gonna have your name on yours.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Is
I was waiting. That's what I was waiting for.
What about me? What about?
They're all stylish, and they've got like little swirls around them.
I'm just gonna.
Rob actually came to me the first year and said there's an overwhelming demand for you to be the first Hall of Famer, and I was like, oh, give me a couple years. Wait till you have names on them, and then come and see me.
Well, I heard they're going to be making busts soon, so I don't know when those come out.
Dang.
The long beard. Imagine that thing.
I don't know if I would want to bust of myself though. But I'm just gonna get a label maker and add my name on the label maker.
Just print your own, 3D print it.
I have mine in my office on a shelf, and I have my original certificate.
You got inducted the first year, right?
Yes.
First year you got.
Yep.
Yeah, congratulations. That's like milestone.
To you, and Lap was the second year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you again. Many congratulations.
Well, and
what's going on with you, Art?
Nothing. I got nothing going on.
Not yet. Not yet.
No.
Art's going to be next year. One of the prerequisites is that you needed to be doing booths for 10 years.
Yeah, and I'm at 9.
Oh wow!
I'm at 9. Yeah, I'm a newbie.
You're a newbie. I'm sorry. 9 is not new. 9 is seasoned.
Okay. No, it's so I don't know. I'm just glad to just go every year. I'm thankful, like to just immerse myself. Because when I started out, I like again the iPad right in a bar, and then one day, like a year later, I called up Dave, and Dave's like, "Yeah, this is how you do it." And I'm like, and then I joined a photo booth network, and it was just from there. But I'm still learning. I'm learning from you guys, so I'm not ready to be
we're all
coaching.
learning.
Yeah, I'd say we're learning together. Like you mentioned earlier, the advice that we give on the podcast. And we actually kind of had that discussion on our last like boothcation. Someone mentioned like, I don't know if all the advice is the best advice, but I take some of it. And then obviously when we did our prop episode, like the internet exploded. They were so angry that Lap doesn't use props. So we want to make clear that none of this, what we talk about is advice. It's just experience. We're just talking about our own experiences, and maybe that experience will work for you. Maybe what you're doing is better. But we're certainly not trying to tell people how to run their businesses. We're just saying, hey, this is what I do with my business. This is what Lap does with her business. It's been working for us, and maybe what you're doing is better, and we'd love to hear about it. But Lap and I, obviously, we're a great example because both of us run our businesses very differently. So,
but like I feel like being
disclaimer.
being open to like doing things different. Being open to doing things different is like huge for your business. Like if you're stuck where you are not wanting to absorb new information or consider new ways of doing things, you start becoming stagnant. And I don't think in the world of technology that we're in, I don't think that's a good place for you to be in. So be open to hearing like suggestions. Maybe you don't like the advice. Maybe you don't like that I don't use props. That's okay.
They do not like it.
You might. I feel like people have gotten so used to hearing it from me that nobody was really surprised by it anyways. But in that podcast, I talk about how I transition, because the biggest question is like, how do you transition into to being without props? That's like the big mystery, and it's a lot easier than you realize.
It's hard.
I just recorded one a couple days ago. I don't want to say too much about it, but I think it may piss off more people than the prop episode.
Ooh, what's right?
I'll give the teaser where maybe I should just give the title if I've got it here somewhere. But it's attacking some of the lies that are spread by a lot of the vendors in the photo booth industry about the money just money falling and pay for this with your first event, and they get rich quick.
Yes.
Bullshit that is sold by a lot of the vendors. We kind of approach that, and there's a lot of I guess there's a lot of negativity in that because we try to get very, very real. And
no, I see it. I see it, and it's look. I kind of feel the same way that some people are like, you're going to make $1 gajillion, and this is the best side hustle in the world. And look, it is a great side hustle, absolutely, but it's not about
not
just
so
buying
much a
a
side
piece.
hustle. Yeah,
But it can be, right? But it's not just buy a machine.
It's a side hustle that you put full-time effort into.
You have to like work it. It's not just buy a machine and it's going to print you money. Now you have to have a business plan. You got to have insurance. You got to think about training, taking on employees. It's so much more marketing, right? Sales, accounting.
It's so much more than full time for me. It's even if I'm at home, I'm constantly poking at my phone and checking and seeing if leads are coming in. And
and it's terrible when you try to have a life. It's terrible when you try to have a life and you're sitting there checking your phone and responding to emails.
Clients reaching out at 11 o'clock at night just to change a small thing on a template, right? Like you got to be ready to go.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going through that with a client right now. Kelsey, who does my graphics, just left between our two recordings and let me know that our client, she's like on the 8th revision for a client, which is pretty uncommon for us. We have systems in place to make sure that there's 1 or 2 revisions, but she's got a problem client that is insistent.
And then when they go back to the original design that you presented after the 30th, I get that a lot.
Let me ask you a question. I have a client. All right, this is live scenario here. She wants silver. Like she doesn't want silver sequin as part of the strip. How would you handle that? Because what color is silver? Gray, right? I mean, would you go the gray with the gradient?
So what's the question? She doesn't one.
She's got a strip template,
Uh-huh.
and she wants it to look like silver, but not like silver sequin.
So
Just
the
get the-
overlay
you just get the-
itself.
Yeah, just get the JPEG that is
Silver.
It's
put
like
that on
a
there?
foil. It's called silver foil. It's called
Silver foil. It just
Yeah,
looks
and then
black and white to me.
no, in Photoshop you mess with the mask layers and then
Okay.
it'll apply it.
See, and that's what we do here on the Photo Booth Magazine. We just talk random stuff, but that was an important thing for me that maybe somebody else learned when they're watching the show.
But if it was me, I would just push her towards like very minimalist because that's like trending right now. So
That's
I
what I'm
would bring
trying
up
to
like
do.
like I would bring up like the Oscars and a lot of the award shows. They don't add anything. Like it's very basic. Even like the font is very, very,
Mhm.
there's no design to it.
So
And
did
it's
everyone see
more-
that
I feel like it's more
horrible
timeless.
experience at the Grammys that with the guests signing the
lens?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What was it? I didn't miss it.
I've seen it on TikTok, but Erica also shared it on the groups. Essentially, they had celebrities approach the camera lens and sign it, and some kissed it and whatnot. And obviously, there's been photo boothers that have
How
done
big
something.
was this lens?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
No.
like, I don't know, 4 inches by 4 inches, and recording it looked really fun, but they showed some of the output, and it's really hard to find the output now because it's really, really bad. Obviously, I mean, imagine signing a camera lens and how the dynamics of that is. So I don't know why they didn't do the plexiglass signing in front of it or whatnot, but it wasn't great. It wasn't great.
That's equal to in the DJ world, the microphone drop. How popular that became, right? So it was very popular to take this, the microphone with you're doing a toast or whatever, and then drop it like guests. These guests don't realize these microphones are like $600, $700, $800, $900, and now you just broke it. Yeah, it's insane. So why would they let them sign the lens? Now we're gonna have to worry about people signing my lens at the events. Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm like, no, don't do that.
Now I'm gonna have to YouTube it because I didn't watch the Grammys at all. I did not see.
It may not have been the
anything, so I don't
Grammys. I
know.
think it was, but it was some award show that
it
was.
It was the Grammys. I was
It was?
watching it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll go with it, check it out.
the pre Grammys when they're all walking in, the red carpet kind of thing.
But those of you that are looking for ideas, there will be planners right now that are saying, "Hey, I saw this on the Grammys. Can you do this?" So learn how to do it better because it's already been put together. It's already been figured out. It's already a viable product.
I've done those in the past where
we've only done it once.
Would sign the plexiglass and then take a picture.
Yeah.
I love that one. They had that at PBX a couple years ago where it was like glowing neon text. I love it. Yeah. I haven't delivered it myself. I should. That's one of those things I've been meaning to explore.
Well, it's something that's outside the norm, and if you find the right event, it can be really hot. And then you get an Instagram person or TikTok person posting it up there, and then all of a sudden it's going to be all across the country. Everybody's going to be asking in the groups, "Oh, hey, I saw this on TikTok." Megan Thee Stallion had this at whoever had it at her party.
And the one we did was really fun. Unfortunately, it was children, so I wasn't able to share it, and I can't use it anywhere still now. But it was like it was called iPop. It was like a talent agency or something. They had so the iPop had several different segments of kids, including like iDance and iSing and whatever. So they had these kids coming in on the red carpet, and we would ask them for their autograph, and they would sign the thing, and all of them just thought it was like the most incredible thing in the world to have us come up and ask for the autograph and signing it on there and printing it out. It was a really, really fun activation that we did. Like the pure joy and excitement from every single kid that came up and grabbed that pin was really a really fun experience.
Yeah, I enjoyed it when I saw it at PBX too. And, we see a lot of photo booths when we go to PBX, but when I forgot what company had it, but they had like the neon markers.
Yeah,
I loved it. Do you know? It wasn't a room.
That?
It was like a box. And you sit in front of it. It was maybe like a 4-foot wide backdrop, but I loved it. I still have that photo.
They had the booth in like a box. Like the booth wasn't exposed. And
yeah.
I remember where
Camera
it was on the
internal.
showroom floor, but I don't remember what company it
It was
was.
towards the front. Yeah, I don't remember what
That's
company
the
it
thing
was
is-
Front
either.
center, yeah.
The downside of the expos, there's been so many really good companies that just disappear.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah. That Small
Ye-
World one from last year I thought was so cool. I keep bringing it up because I liked it so much. And then they did
The lenticular that they did was
Lenticular.
really neat too.
Yeah.
Like it was a very, very quick, easy lenticular process, which is typically really hard. So
yeah,
was cool.
that one that was really cool that I feel like nobody saw last year.
yeah, in fact, I didn't see it until you told me about it, and then I went and tracked them down. So they weren't very good at market. They should have got a BA because I think there may have been a language barrier too, and they just weren't very outgoing. So they were very
Yeah.
easy to walk by and miss.
And I actually tried to download their app to use it post PBX, but they were still working on there was something like still in beta. So it took like 2 or 3 weeks before I could actually test out whatever it was I was trying. I don't remember, guys, what I was testing out, but I was trying to test out like one of the features because it does multiple things, and it took 2 or 3 weeks, and by then I had already, like I had already moved on. I kind of want to go back and revisit it, but I think like having those features ready to go at PBX so that I could have downloaded right then and there and used it right then and there, I probably would have been beneficial to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
and
the
I spent
excitement
a
wears
lot-
off.
Yeah, exactly. And like they made lenticular pretty easy too. And I took a lot of time learning lenticular at one point. And then once I got good at it, I tried really hard to sell it and wasn't able to sell it. And then when someone asked me about it like a year later, I had completely forgotten like how to do everything. So for them to be able to make it really, really user friendly like they did is, I mean, they could really make lenticular a very popular product in the photo booth industry if they marketed it correctly.
I see it pop up every year, like once or twice a year, and then like people are like, "Oh my god, this is so cool!" And I'm like, "It's been out forever," But you get those people that haven't been in the industry, and that's what I have to realize is there's new people coming in every day. We're adding people to these groups that are just learning about it, from doing an internet search or someone telling them, "Oh, hey, you got to join, photo booth, network or photo booth community," and just stumbling across this stuff.
Yeah.
And then they're seeing it for the first time and they're like, "Oh my God, this is awesome."
Well, we need a TikTok from Megan Thee Stallion doing lenticular to make it popular.
Did she actually do that?
That's how the 360s took off.
Did she actually do lenticular? You just pull in an example.
Just saying, if you want to be popular, just shove it in her face and say, "Do this."
That's how the 360s took off. Like right around COVID, is she had one at a party and posted it on TikTok or whatever, Instagram, and then all of a sudden, like 360 booths just like exploded.
Yeah,
and everybody had to have one, and that's like the first major event that a celebrity that I remember seeing a celebrity, popularize.
Well, the glamour with Mir and the Kardashians.
Yeah.
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 I jumped on that one real quick.
Yeah. That was definitely due to the Kardashians and Justin Bieber and stuff doing it.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about I know this is like the topic that keeps coming up, so I feel like I should bring it up. What do you guys think about the Glambot arms?
I think they have a place.
Everybody had such a big long sight.
Yeah, I mean I've only had like one or two people ask me about it, but I don't have it on my website. I don't have it in our deck. I don't market it. So it's something that I don't have. I know someone local that would white label it to me. So, when the right people come along and they're asking about, higher end stuff, I do throw it in the deck, but no one's ever even been like, tell me more about this. So I know that some people like Chris Meyer, for example, does a lot of them.
Andrew,
I've never seen much interest.
Chris Meyer with Andrew from the East Coast. I forget his last name.
I think it's one of those things. It's where it's a very expensive product, right? And you have to have the right client that has
But
also
weren't
disposable income.
360s weren't
They were.
360s very expensive when they first came out? I swear, like Orcas were like
Not really. I mean, when they
the
first
original
came
Orca.
out, but
Yeah,
then they
like
stopped selling them really quickly.
Right.
yeah.
So then you couldn't get your hands on them at all. But
The original Orca, I think, was around 13,000 for the first.
Was it?
Yeah.
Isn't that what a glam
But
box, like a good one's costing
they are
nowadays? Like
sold for
13 or
like
so?
such a short period of time, though.
I couldn't get my hands on an Orca, but there was like a European one that was called Dream Booth that was made almost identical that I got a hold of, and that thing was expensive. It was at least 5 digits, but nobody had them at that time. Nobody had 360s at that time.
Yeah, and then like during COVID, like I don't know, Chinese manufacturers really went to town on them and started building them. And not only Chinese, they're in Russia and a lot of pretty much anywhere overseas was mass producing 360s. And when we came out of COVID, it was just massive everywhere. I remember that PBX out of the first PBX. After all of that, there were companies there with like cease and desist letters to all the people trying to sell 360s on the showroom floor. That didn't work out. Yeah.
No,
I
I mean you can get them
remember
on Amazon.
that.
I had the Zentek one.
$500. It's wild.
$500.
That's so wild. $500 compared to like what I pay for a Dream Booth is so wild to me. And then like when you have these 360s that cost $500, like you cannot be surprised that it's like not stable or it's shaking and like it can't handle the weight of 1 or 2 people. Like there's a reason why a lot of the companies like Orca or quality builders, the manufacturing cost is going to be more than $500. Like you got to invest in your business for the right equipment for the right output.
Yeah, and I could certainly speak from experience with that. Our first one was a Russian one, and it was built poorly. Like every single time we set it up, we had to use like shims.
About it, Jason.
I think you did. I think we had to shim it every single time we set it up because you could stand on it and like rock it.
Oh my God.
It was really, really bad. But I knew it wasn't great, but I didn't know how ungreat it was until we decided, like, after, like, I was scared of Lap for a while. I knew she was going to yell at me if I called her. She's like, I'm not helping you with this 360 anymore. So finally we ordered an Orca View, and when it came, not just me, but like every single person on our staff was just absolutely like gobsmacked at how.
Dude, I was like, about time.
The quality, the setup, the stability, just absolutely the motor. Like we're like putting the belt back on every third event and tightening things back down.
No.
Like it was a mess. But the Orca View was night and day is an understatement. That really good company.
Yeah.
So I've since bought 2 more of their platforms, and also I've got one of their suspended 360s as well, or their overhead 360s. So,
you guys doing a lot of 360s these days? I mean, how's it come since 2020? No.
Well, it was huge after 2020. Like we certainly had a peak. We were doing, I don't know, 3 or 4 a week for a minute, and then we were doing like 3 or 4 a month. And I'd say
ties down.
I don't know. We're probably doing 1 or 2 a month right now, if I had to guess without pulling out any.
I feel like when it first came out, it was just the fact that it was so different. Like for me, when I first saw my first 360 footage, it was just like the footage was just so dynamic that it was very eye-catching. But now, I mean, like you see people who are doing them in like backyard parties, not doing them well. Most of them are not doing them well. But it lost its wow factor because they've been around, like I feel like photo booths that print is just so classic that they're not going to go out of style. But like 360 is just one of those like trendy. And I knew that when I jumped in, that's why I try to jump in early. Whenever it comes to like trends and things like that, like jumping in early, you're kind of gambling because you're investing your money. You're not
Definitely
sure
gambling.
if it's, so you don't know if for sure whatever technology you're investing in is going to take off or if it's going to be a dud. But that's the thing about business. Like if you're not at the forefront, then you're just playing catch up, like that's why I'm wondering about like,
that was us. We were definitely playing catch up with the 360. I really thought it was, because it got so popular so quick. I thought it was going to die down just as quick. and when we really waited too long, we lost a lot of opportunity. But I mean, we still did well with it, but we could have done a lot better.
In my
A
area,
little better, yeah.
Dave, I don't know about you, but like I've actually for the longest time never had anybody ask me about it, and it wasn't until this year I've had like 5 or 6 people ask for it.
Where
in, like,
where are
the
you
last month
again,
and a half.
Art?
The
Where are you again,
360?
Art?
Yeah,
No,
for the
where's Art?
360.
Well, where are
I'm
you at, Art?
I'm in this like the suburbs, almost rural. It's like right on the edge outside of Philadelphia, where I'm not in the city, right? And I feel like this has been more of a city thing. If you know, at least that's my perspective of it. But
Dave, you're close
now,
by, right? Or do you
Yeah.
have the same?
Yeah,
Or
no,
do you-
we're like different
farm
distances,
areas.
but just outside of Philadelphia.
Yeah,
But you saw this, you're seeing the same trend where like now you're starting to see 360 requests, or?
Oh,
Is it coming back?
I've had a 360 since before COVID. So, I get a lot of requests for it. But the problem is a lot of people here sell it as a commodity. So, people are expecting they only have to pay $100 or $200 for a 4-hour event.
That's
Mhm.
crazy.
And then I give them my price and they're like, "Oh, well, that's more than what we were expecting." Well, that's, what you're getting from that person is not what you're getting from me.
yeah.
And that's unfortunate.
Mhm.
Because I try to educate people. That person probably doesn't have insurance. That person is probably doing it as a weekend. And a lot of time, and there's been a few times where I've gotten phone calls after the event was supposedly started because they never showed up.
Yep.
But like
Or
beyond like the service level, I feel like with the 360 that people don't, because I hear a lot of people say like, oh, it doesn't cost me anything. It literally, I already own the platform. I just got to drop it and run it, right? But like, I feel like a lot of people overlook the fact that you have that one 360, and if you're booking it for $100 or two or whatever insane price that, less than a photo booth, all it takes is for some like the hazard, the risk that you run when you run a 360 is just so much higher versus a photo booth, right? So all it takes is for someone to fall on your 360 and your entire 2 weeks worth of events, or however long it takes for another 360. I don't know how fast these 360s from Amazon are coming nowadays, but
Yeah.
like you're gonna have to cancel whatever events that you have because someone fell on your 360. And it's happened to me several times, and I love orcas because when someone falls on it, we just slide it back in and it gets going. But
Mhm.
that's not the case with like a lot of these China built ones. So I feel like a lot of people overlook that fact. Like especially if you're running like a business that relies on 360s and someone falls on it, what is your solution for your event the next day?
Backup. Yeah, gotta have backup. Gotta have
I
replacement parts.
don't feel like most people that have 360s have backup 360s for when someone
Nope.
breaks their like
most
I
people
feel
don't
like
have backups for their regular photo booths.
that's true, which is
You know.
crazy. Y'all should have backup of everything for your booth: cameras, PCs, printers, flash.
Load your event to the cloud. So you have it if something happens. God forbid, something happens. But I mean, I all my booths go out with a little kit, an extra camera. I even have a web camera in case the backup camera fails.
What
One of the
fails the most?
nice things about the new like DSLR iPads is you've got like that built-in camera
Yes.
backup.
Yeah.
You can just go to iPad immediately, and it takes like 30 seconds probably. Like if you're having camera problems, there's a line, switch to iPad, 30 seconds tops, you're ready to go. And when your line comes down, you could troubleshoot your camera. Before it's like troubleshoot the camera. If it doesn't work, go to the backup box, pull the backup camera out, but now it's like troubleshoot it when you have time. You just keep rolling.
I'm moving everything over to DSLR iPad combo.
Yeah.
Everything. Because it's just, again, like you said, Jason, it's the backup camera.
Yeah.
Like that,
and I guess
the
technically
DSLR
you could have done that with the Microsoft Surface Pro, but we, for some reason, never did. I don't know if it's as easy. And those cameras certainly aren't as good as iPad cameras either.
Yeah. Not at all.
I forget that the iPad could be a backup. That's like the last thing I think about. So I usually go through crazy troubleshooting first, and I'm like, wait a minute, like I'm so used to just rushing to troubleshoot the camera and the Surface Pro. It's weird to like have the iPad as backup. So I forget that sometimes.
That's why I'm training on Sunday. That's
Yeah.
one of the first things they're learning. This goes, use this one.
Yeah, I gotta train myself into that mindset, because if I'm not training myself, how can I train my staff? Like, if you can't get the DSLR to connect, there's still the iPad. Like, I think there was a situation like late fall where that happened. Like, we spent so much time trying to troubleshoot, and then in the end it was like, wait a minute, we could just pull the iPad. Like, it just didn't even dawn on me, because it's not part of like my regular system, you know. Like, we slowly started moving over to iPad DSLR, but we've always been like Breeze Surface Pro.
Right.
So I had mentioned this to Lap on a previous episode or discussion at some point, but I'm like beta testing and internal troubleshooting right now with using like a ChatGPT and building like a custom bot or custom chat, whatever, that has like all the specifics of our exact booths and softwares and what versions they're running and whatnot. And right now, so our process right now is when we have a tech support issue, they call into us, and generally we would just help them. But right now we're running it through our bot right now to see what kind of advice it gives, so we can test to make sure it's solid before we deploy it to our hosts and have them go there first. But right now it's really good. So we've only got a couple of our booths in there right now and troubleshooting it, but eventually we're going to go into different services that we offer and different, include backdrop issues or everything. But right now the results are really solid. I'm happy with where they're at.
That's pretty cool.
That's
That sounds
so
like a little
awesome.
business in itself, a little product that you could.
Yeah, I kind of thought about that, but I mean, it is so specific to each one of our booths, because we put in which iOS is running, and it doesn't need to be that specific, but when someone requests help, I wanted to know immediately what tools it has at its disposal and what models it has, so it knows where if it wants to tell somebody go into settings, I want it to be the exact settings that it's familiar with to tell them to go to. And a lot of times the answers, like in our early testing, weren't the best. Like, we had to kind of train it to be like teach it to say, like, keep operating, like, don't go into this troubleshooting, even if it's more common. Let's go to a troubleshooting that keeps it operating first, and then kind of back up that in a different direction. So then we also had to build in like our own common issues and what we do instead of the correct thing that's a faster solution, just to get things, taking photos again real quick. For example, we just talked about, don't go through and troubleshoot the camera. If there's a line, just switch to iPad really quick, like just keep the line moving, so those sort of things we had to kind of build in there. But I encourage anyone that is familiar with chat to start playing around and testing that, because it's going to be very helpful for us.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's very cool.
Well, before we sign off, because Lap is about to freeze out there in
68-degree
in Southern California.
Southern
California.
I wanted to thank you guys for coming on, as always, providing the industry with just great content. For those who do not know Pro Booth Talk, you can listen to it on Spotify. You can listen to it on YouTube, Podbean, Apple Music. Where else?
ProBoothTalk.com if you want to listen to it in a browser. But if you like video, certainly go to YouTube. That's the only place that we've got a video format. But otherwise, wherever you podcast, like if you use Apple Podcasts, if you use Spotify, or iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, literally Podcaster.
Podcast.
I can't remember the name of that one, but anywhere that you podcast or listen to your podcast, we should be there.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
And what are you guys looking forward to PBX? Is there anything in specific that you can think of that's the first thing you go check out when you go there?
For me, it's always the same answer. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. It's like a high school reunion. Yeah,
it's like band camp.
Scripted.
Yeah.
No, it's good. We can't.
But as far as like the showroom floor and stuff, I don't know. I mean, I
don't know what
I was
to
talking
expect.
I was just in Atlanta for an event, and got together with Monica when I was there, and we kind of said, like, maybe we should make a pact someone gets a prize whoever spends less money between the two of us, because we're both kind of dead set on not spending money this year, because every year we say we're not going to and we end up spending too much money. But I'm not in the market for anything. I'm always open to new innovative things that pop up, but I don't think that I'm looking for really anything this year.
I'm going to buy some props, and I'm just going to leave them next to Lap.
There it is. Everybody buy one prop and give it to Lap before she leaves.
I don't need props, guys. I got plenty.
That's it.
Believe it or not.
No. You can never have enough.
Hey, we will have a couple shirts. I didn't tell Lap that either yet. I have, like, last minute, I had a couple shirts printed. Not very many, like 5. So.
Oh my gosh!
Come on Sunday and you want a shirt and a mug. I don't know if people can see my mug.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. How come?
Yeah,
I need one of these.
He's been using it all night. I've seen him drinking out of it a couple times.
Own swag. I don't even have my own swag.
I got you a different mug. I'll give it to you when I see you on Sunday.
The missing eyes though is a little hard for me to digest. When I was making the promo card for this, I was just going to put your eyes only and leave everything else out.
That would have been funny.
So, well, guys,
I like it when I created Laps. She's the first one. If you look closely, I'm sure most people just glance at it, but if you look closely, she's the first one that I've ever added a nose ring. So, she's got
what? I did not know that.
Yeah, and the logo there, you've got a
Easter egg there.
I'm gonna get those little googly eyes from Michaels and just put them on there.
Why do I have to be so extra like that? The chains, the nose ring, man.
The photo that I had to work with, I was just like,
because you are so unique. That is why.
These necklaces, it was a pain to create that. Like typically, and the hair too. Like the hair was. And honestly, like I don't. So those used to take me a lot of time because I'm detail orientated and take more time than I should have to. But I've been using like Leonardo to create them recently, and they only take like 5 or 6 minutes, but they're not nearly as detailed. Like the ones that I've created historically, you can look at it and know exactly who it is. But
yeah,
the newer ones, you have to guess a little bit, but
they still look good. They look good.
Yeah, and the time savings for me is worth it. So.
Yeah, I look forward to the graphics when you post them. You know, when you have the shows.
Yeah, you had a graphic from years that actually you were the very first person we had on the original podcast. Dave Stevenson was our first guest host.
What's that?
Wow.
I'll have to bust out the old the graphic and share it.
When was that? Oh, that's right. Back when you yes, that's back when you had I think Clay was on with you. When
I think it was Tim when you were on, because it was the very first one. But I'll bring it up right now. I'll bring up the graphic. I don't know if you could how well my camera's working, if you could see very well or not. But
I'll make it full screen.
Well, I'll share it on there and see.
Wow.
If you just give me a second to get into it. Let's see. People, Dave Stevenson. Yeah, there it is.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Gosh.
So that was actually that's probably one of the sketches. I had a friend that did digital art, and I think that was one of my Facebook profile pictures back then.
Yeah, we would always just pull people's Facebook profiles and
so I had a friend who used to do digital art, and she did some, and that was one of them. She took one of my pictures where I had like a tuxedo on and just kind of did the face and stuff. So yeah. Wow. Yes. That's an old picture. See that. Now I'm gonna have to change mine to show that.
Now, so we've all 4 been eyeless on
yes.
the Proba Talk logo. So, yes. All right. Well, with that silence, I think that means
we've been at it for quite some time this evening.
Well, you said an hour and a half, so I've been pushing. I'm like, I've got to break some records. You guys said your longest one was an hour.
We're not trying to break records. I'm standing out here in the cold, you guys.
I just wanted to see how long we could keep Lap, from freezing to death in 70-degree weather.
So I did look it up, and it is actually colder. Let me look it up again, see where we're at. What is the temperature in Los Angeles?
I'm in Newport Beach, guys.
It is 59 degrees, so it is
okay.
See,
I'm in Newport Beach. It's a little bit colder out here too. I'm at the Celebrations venue. We're doing a networking event tonight for people in the wedding industry. So,
other people are
after this. Other people are after this. Well, me too. I'm going to be joining them
after this. Yes.
Yeah. But thank you, guys. Thank you for having us on.
Well, thank you for joining us. I mean,
I think we lost Art's audio. Looks
no,
like
I hear him.
No,
I hear Art.
I don't hear Art.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
now
no,
I hear you.
Yeah.
Now I can't. Nope. Nothing. Which is very ironic because when we were recording Pro Booth Talk today, Art couldn't hear Lap, and now Lap is the only one that can hear Art. So
how's that?
Yes.
Yeah, there you are.
We can hear you.
See, it took that little bit of a delay. So both of my earpods went junk. Well, that's because we were on the episode earlier. But we're less than a minute away from breaking the record.
Oh.
You got a minute in your lap?
Got a minute. Got a minute.
Yeah, so check out Pro Booth Talk wherever you podcast, do all that stuff. And PBX is coming. Hopefully you're all coming to PBX Sunday at the USB-C Lounge in the South Point. Lap and I will be there from 4 to 6. Come say hi.
4 to 6. Yeah.
Hang out with us, have a drink. And
so Art and I think we'll be getting in a little after it's over.
That's okay. Billy offered to buy everyone drinks at the bar afterwards.
Billy?
Yeah, Billy, yes.
You see, you gotta be careful what you say on these responses because if people hold you to
I'm definitely holding them to that one then.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, after 6, I'll be going up to the Boothmaster Award show for a while, and then I will be staying at the South Point, and so I'll be walking around somewhere
What
at
time?
What
time is the booth? What time is the Boothmasters Award?
Which is why
6
we're
to
ending
what?
at 6.
6 to
I
what?
think it's kind of late till like 10. I think it's 6 to 10.
Yeah.
So they do like an hour at least of like drinks and food and stuff before they start the award show, and then
oh, okay. Is it
drinks?
formal?
Yeah.
Is it formal? Like it's my first
No.
time.
It's a
that I'll
mix
be
because
attending this.
everyone travels in, so there are some people that wear suits and stuff, but most people are not formal because people are traveling and they don't want to bring a suit.
I have a suggestion for those who do show up to the Mastermind Awards. The bar is quite expensive, and last year they didn't even have water, so make sure you drink some water before you go in there, just in case it's the same as last year.
Okay.
Yeah, and they do have some food there, but the last 2 years
Tacos.
it was like some nachos or something like that.
Mhm. Yeah.
So if you want like a meal, definitely get a meal prior.
Yeah.
But I think they had like chicken fingers and nachos, which was a kind of weird pairing, but it was good. But it wasn't a
Something.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we did break the record officially.
There
So,
it was.
That's it. This is the longest episode.
Breaking
we've ever had.
records. Shutting shit down.
Smashing
Breaking
it,
records with
smashing
Hall
it
of Fame
again.
members. That's how we do it. All right,
It
guys.
was cold. I suffered through this. I'm just kidding.
Lap, work for that record.
Listen,
Thank you, guys.
She definitely earned it tonight.
All right. I'll see you guys later. And I don't think we're going to have an episode next week because we got to prep for,
Yes.
well, and there
Hey,
might be
2
an
weeks.
Eagles Super Bowl parade next week, too, that I have to go to. I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
And just saying. So
Maybe I should
we'll see you guys in.
tease our next week's episode then, which will be
They'll probably lose now that I said that. Right.
it's one of the rapid fires, which seems to be pretty popular.
Yeah,
with
I hear
listeners.
good feedback.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
somehow this one ended up pretty much being like all about backdrop, so it really should just be a backdrop episode. So check that out next Wednesday. Rapid fire with a bunch of talk about backdrops.
Awesome.
Nice. Excellent.
Yeah. And then T minus 2 weeks, a week and a half till PBX. It's
That's
coming
it.
up. T minus a week and a half, 12 days, 13 days, something like that.
Ready
See
See
for
y'all
it.
everybody in Vegas.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Have a good night.
Bye.
See you soon.
Hey, everyone.